a lot of turmoil across the Gallagher Premiership with the loss of Worcester Warriors and Wasps as well. What can you tell our supporters about what's happening and what you can expect next from Premiership Rugby?
Well, yeah, this has been an incredibly turbulent couple of months, hasn't it? And first of all, we continue to completely sympathise and empathise with everyone connected with both those clubs, because there's a lot of good people, there's a lot of good friends across our player base, coaching staff, commercial teams, that we all know them. And so we're obviously incredibly sympathetic to what's happening. Both those teams have now been suspended from the league for the remainder of the year. So at least now we know that we've got 11 teams in the league for the rest of the season, and it's about making the best of that fixture schedule for the rest of the season. And I think really now utilising the opportunity to have a bit of a reset and get to some of the real challenging questions and discussions around how do we make our league align with international rugby so that we get all the best access to our players and they get the best access to their players, and we can align to make this sport maximise its visible audience and commerciality as much as we can.
Can you say anything to reassure the Harlequins supporters about our club? Obviously there's been a lot of headlines, negative ones about rugby at the moment, so is there anything you can say to reassure the fans about Harlequins?
Yeah, and that's entirely understandable as well, isn't it? Because a lot of the headlines at the moment are understandably quite transparent around the financial challenges that we all face. And don't get me wrong, we've got some big mountains to get over as a collective. Our turnover is really high as a club, but our cost base is really high as a club. So we need to find that real equilibrium between the two. But as a club, Harlequins is in a really strong position. And just to reassure fans, our owners, our investors remain incredibly committed and proud of everything we're doing here. We've got another massive sellout crowd here today against London Irish, which has been the way it's been for the last year and a half. So we're continuing to move things on the economic trend really positively, but we continue to have some challenges around ensuring that we are managing our costs at the same level as which we're sort of increasing our turnover as well.
And what is the club doing, but more importantly, what can the supporters do to help?
Well, the supporters have been fantastic, as they always are. I mean, look at the place is absolutely buzzing today, and this game sold out weeks ago. But there is a few things, their continued support, understanding that we are performing extremely well, but we need that continued support. So when we launch products like the Barbarians and Big Summer Kickoff, that we continue to get that level of engagement from our supporter base. And also our ticket resale product now is becoming a really useful mechanism for us as a club to maximise the fans that can't always come, and we accept that they're not going to always be able to get here on a match day, so giving us those tickets back to resale that they get the benefit out of through Quinn's Credit, and we ensure that we get good levels of sort of continued support in the ground as well. That's worth $500,000 to us as a club. So ensuring that we continue to push that product and fans convert it and use it is absolutely gold dust for us as well.
Fans have had a little taste of the North Village now. Is it everything that you'd hope for?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a couple of teething issues. We're still sort of getting ironed out. We built that facility in about 10 weeks, less than that. So, to get it up and erected without any problems was going to be a massive challenge. But we're virtually through it all now, and yeah, it's a great opportunity for fans to get here earlier. And now that we're selling out and we've got the place absolutely full, we are far closer now to having a facility that can deliver, I think, the level of consumer service and experience that they should be getting when they come to watch games at the Stoop. So they're getting quality on the pitch, and I hope we're vastly improving the quality of our service off it as well.
Big Game 14 is fast approaching, and it seems as popular as ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm almost a bit sort of tempted to not sort of speak too much about it, because at the minute it's tracking as our fastest big game ever in terms of ticket sales, and not just by a bit, by a good proportion. We announced the music act this week, Faithless, which again, that might not be absolutely everyone's cup of tea, but we try and strike a balance with the vast majority demographically that come to the game, and also it's a dark night game, so we want to utilise the assets at our disposal. So we're hugely excited about it. As I say, financially, it's a massive contributor to the club's turnover, which is why we launched the second one. And we're excited about playing two teams in Bristol that we think are going to give us the opportunity to put, again, Premiership Rugby right in a really strong shop window.
And just finally, I know the supporters would love to hear any news you have about the playing squads. Is there any update you can provide us with?
Yeah, we're working really hard on that. We've got a number of recruitment and retention conversations that are operating at the moment, and like all these things, we've got probably a dozen plates spinning at any one time. The guys are doing a great job, but naturally, given some of the pressures on the cost base that I've just mentioned, we're probably going to not be able to retain absolutely everyone we want. We lost a couple last year that we would have loved to have kept. We'll probably end up doing that the same this year. We've obviously announced Wilco's on his way. Which is a big loss physically and metaphorically. So, but equally, the cohesion that's been driven through the group now, the guys that are coming through from the academy, the work that the coaches are doing on getting players up to their optimum level of performance and output, fans should feel reassured that the club's going to still be in a really strong position to compete.